This is KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications. This is KHQA.
And this is Saturday, August the 23rd, and you have indeed entered Overtime once again, your 30-minute one-stop shop for all things Tri-State sports. And for us, the end of a glorious and exhilarating yet exhausting and scorching 48-hour bit. Last week at this time, everything we told you about the teams in our area was simply an educated guess. Now we have an actual body of work on some of those teams to back up some of those assertions, including more evidence of a rising Gulf power in the Gem City, as well as the shifting grains of power in Northeast Missouri football. But first, we need to punctuate week number 1 of the Pigskin slate and that rarest of breakfast matchups, where due to the stifling weather, Hannibal had to move up the start time of today's road trip to Mary Institute Country Day School from this point forward, MICDS, to a 10 a.m. start, which made an already hard bargain even harder. Consider that the Rams are a traditionally loaded program that didn't have to get on a bus at 6:30 this morning to travel 2 hours for a game. Also remember that Hannibal is a team that has suffered slow starts the last few years and is, of course, a football community obviously dealing with issues that go beyond the gridiron as they pertain to Marianne St. Clair, who was forced to miss her first football game in support of her husband in eons today due to her health situation. I'm not sure there could be many more ways fate could have ladled out adversity for the Hannibal Pirates on this opening day. I mean, I guess they could have scheduled this game for the Gobi Desert. Oh, wait.
It was a scorcher. This is definitely the hottest it's been all week, in shoulder pads and helmets. We just went out there, fought through it.
This was probably the hottest game I've definitely ever played in. I struggled in the first half, but the team stuck in it and they kept picking me up.
Number one.
The Pirate offense opened its day in fine form with a brutish, pulverizing first drive that included 2 fourth-down conversions, a timely quarterback-keeper pickup here from Austin Kirby to set up yet another first down, and Jerry McBride showcasing his best power moves, all to set up the game's first touchdown. An Austin Kirby to Dalton Overstreet 4-yard touchdown pass that saw the receiver make something out of virtually nothing.
I knew the play was coming to my side. I ran my route hard, and Kirby threw a little floater just over my guy, and I saw it, read it right in my hands.
But after the ensuing PAT attempt failed and a stalled MICDS drive, Hannibal seemed to have considerable control, up 6-0, until disaster struck on a botched exchange to give the Rams a 7-6 scoop-and-score lead. Neither squad was able to do anything with their next 2 offensive possessions, and as the first half wore on, there were obvious signs of exhaustion taking root and a rapid breakdown in the quality of play. Hannibal was the first to take advantage, striking on a 2-play, 2-carry drive, which started with Wyatt King and ended here with Shamar Griffith's 35-yard touchdown rumble with 2:04 left in the first half, as a gassed Ram defense didn't answer the bell. As Wyatt King added the 2-point conversion, Hannibal would take a 14-7 lead. But then it was the Pirate defense's turn to wither.
We had a lot of things not go our way. A couple bad punts, a fumble. Our offense really didn't get stopped all day long. We stopped ourselves at times, but you got to credit some of that to MICDS, mixing things up a little bit. But couldn't be more proud of a group of kids to come back the second half in this heat. I mean, we were dog tired at halftime. Our medical staff did a good job of getting them hydrated, getting them back and ready. And the biggest thing, though, is our kids got mentally tough in the second half and just played great football.
Thanks to a big gain here from Wyatt King, Hannibal's first drive of the second half touched the red zone, but eventually stalled. The defense then would clean up that mess, first with Harrison Vessel from his defensive tackle position locking down on the run. And then on the ensuing play, it's Jerry McBride cleaning things up with an interception to turn the ball back over to the Pirates. And the Pirates, behind McBride, made some noise again on their second third-quarter possession, only to fumble away the opportunity, with again the Hannibal defense stepping it up, bowing its neck, and picking up the slack. This time it's Colton Brummel on an outstanding open field tackle as the defense turns the ball back over again on downs. Fourth quarter, the Rams threatening here. It's Eric Jones making a key stop to force 4th and long, which brings us to the turning point of this game. A controversial pass interference call here on 4th down, which seemed to enact and bring the Pirates back to life, starting with a critical turnover on downs on the very next play by Colton Brummel on 4th and short.
Yeah, I definitely think it turned the game around. We didn't want to lose on something like that. so we knew we all had to man up, and that was do or die.
On the heels of Brummel's big stop, a ticked-off Pirate defense turned right around and did it again, bailing the team out after a lousy punt by turning MICDS over on downs at the Hannibal 19. And with 2 minutes left in the ballgame, the Pirate offense took the cue and finally roared back to life with a power punch courtesy of a Shamar Griffith 58-yard run on the draw to put the Pirates up 14-7. But it was actually a much shorter Griffith conversion that made that go-ahead touchdown possible.
On a third down, he lost his shoe, made a cut, broke a tackle, and then gained an extra 15 yards to put us in position to make that score on his next run. So, Shamar had a great game. You could list a bunch of them, but, I'm telling you, these kids they're dog-tired, they're hot, but two-class programs. This is a classy place down here. MICDS is as classy as you're going to find from the time we arrived till the time we got done with the game, and it's just been a great game. I can't think of a better opener around the state of Missouri.
Or for that matter, a better finish to the fun as Jerry McBride quickly closed down any hopes of a Ram comeback and sealing the deal on an eventual 28-14 victory.
I just read the quarterback. He looked left. I knew when the receiver that I was guarding fell, so I just jumped the route and made a good play and wanted to seal the team for my team.
That's a good term. They bowed their neck in the second half, and they decided they were going to win this football game.
I think we realized that Coach St. Clair needed a victory for us today. And that fourth quarter was crazy, but we fought through the heat and all the elements around us, and we got them a victory.
We played like a team that had seen a lot of varsity ball, and we had our backs to the wall several times, and they stood up tall. So getting a win the first game in our schedule is it's huge. There's no describing it. The emotions around this game with everything going on, and it's phenomenal, and I'm so pleased and proud of their effort.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate it. Up next for the Hannibal Pirates, these guys, the Elias Crusaders, who made their debut tonight against Nixa, turned out to be a very interesting start in this game. A little bit of an alarming start for Crusader fans and teams that may have had them punched in. A botched punt attempt right here puts Nixa up 2-0. Break them up. The upset of the year. Well, not quite. Nixa had some chances, but would miss 2 field goals in the opening half. Second quarter, well, you know what? Elias finally gets to playing Elias-type football. And you never know what's going to happen week one, so I wouldn't judge this too harshly. Here we go right here. This is Alex Fadul, the Elias quarterback, hooking up with the future superstar Hale Henches with a beautiful Division I touchdown right there out of that big tight end. He goes 73 yards for the score. I believe he's headed to Nebraska. He's a good one. More for this one. How about Nolan Chassis right here with the interception for the Crusaders? That would set up another Fadul touchdown. This time he's going to do it all on his own. He's going to score. Elias scored 27 unanswered points, and the Crusaders tune up for Hannibal with a big-time win. 27-2 was your final. Don't see many two-point scores, but there you have it. That's how the game ends up, and we should have a dandy coming up next week. Well, the sweltering conditions did little to limit the competition or the quality of play this afternoon out at Westview for one of the great golf events of our year. That indeed is the showdown that is the Quincy High Invitational. Also may have shifted a balance of power, although Kobe Roldermeck for Quincy High School, good out of the gate right here, sinking a par putt on the par 5/6. He was 1 under at that point, finished with a great score on the day. Get to him in a second. More to come right here. It's the freshman TJ Wensing doing some nice work for Quincy High. Although the Blue Devils had their struggles today, they would end up finishing in 9th place today, a very unaccustomed spot for Quincy High. Although it's a young team, they're kind of growing, trying to put things together as they go along in this one. Let's check in with Quincy Notre Dame, though. What a day for them. Cale Bergtorf getting things started. Little chip shot right here on 14, leaving himself an easy one right there for par to get up and down. Great stuff from Cale Bergtorf. Adam Hudson par putting his way to fun as well on this day on number 16. He's going to do some work in this one as well. Right here, beautiful putt from him. Great balance from the Raiders today, and that's what you expect from a championship-winning team, and that's what they were today. William Eversman was the deal today, the story. Dropping darts from distance all day long, doing stuff for the birdie. Had a wonderful day for him as he ends up with your medalist honors today at 1 under par. More to come from the Raiders in this one. Drew Eaton, your number 1 player. He was pretty darn solid as well on the par 5 17th, coming down off his 2 under 69 at Peoria Notre Dame last week. He would just miss birdie here, ends up tapping in for par. Eaton finishing strong as well. Let's take a look at the scoreboard as Quincy Notre Dame is your team champion, blowing out Edwardsville and everybody else in the field to get that done with a 374 on the day. A very good team score in, as I said, sweltering conditions today. But the Raiders just show out very, very well. As I mentioned, Mr. Eversman 1 under par to lead it. It was an all-local top 3 in this one. Colby Rodemick from Quincy High finishes with a 72 for second place, 1 over par, and Drew Eaton ties him but ends up losing a scorecard playoff to finish very, very strongly as well. And as I mentioned, Quincy Notre Dame playing some great golf, 2 tournaments, 2 wins. Our Will Wilson will sit down with the Raiders, kind of pick their brain tomorrow, but here's a little preview of what's making things work with the architect behind all of it.
It's a big tournament for us. It's a huge field. We believe we're the smallest school in it, so to come in here with 20 other schools and compete the way we did, we finished second last year. It's a big step for us. Every time we tee it up, we're obviously trying to win, but this one is always a really important tournament. 65 years, a lot of history in this golf community, and we're just proud to be a part of it, get our name on that trophy. To shoot 374 as a team, it's all about depth there through all 5 guys, and we knew that we would be balanced going into it. But getting a 70 from William, 1 under par, was just an unbelievable round in the conditions out here today. And we knew going into it that physically we had athletes. Our guys were not going to be deterred by the conditions, and mentally we're very experienced, very senior, junior laden team, so mentally we were going to be tough as well. So physically and mentally we knew we were going to be fine, just a matter of executing our game plan, and the guys got that done for us today.
Much more with all the Raiders coming up tomorrow night at 10 o'clock with my man, Will Wilson. Want to talk a little soccer today? Good day for the Canton Tigers. They got to go on the road to Kirksville, play that early game at 10 a.m. First game of the season, a win for Canton, 2-1. Nice job out of the gate, Canton Tigers. And we're just getting warmed up here on the Big Overtime Show. Up next was kind of dress rehearsal day for the Culver Stockton football team as they had a controlled scrimmage with an actual opponent. Those highlights and much, much more as we talk about week number 1 of the high school football season. Break it all down for you coming up next right here on Overtime.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
And welcome back to Overtime, everybody, where 2 weeks from today, the Culver Stockton Wildcats will officially christen the new Next Level Field with their opening game there against McMurray. And, of course, our good friend Coy Dorothy, the former Hamilton West Hancock star quarterback, so it should be an awful lot of fun. But today, little dress rehearsal action for Jeff Duvendek's team. They hosted Co-College, I should say, in a controlled scrimmage. Nothing controlled about the play. A former Palmyra star, Wilson Rigg, right there. The pride of Palmyra getting it done right there. Defense was really the outlier today for Culver Stockton, although the offense did have some nice moments, including a great catch right here by John Harmon, big number 82. But mostly, it was the defense. Mike Davis, senior defensive end, making his presence felt on this one. And this, my friends, is not a replay. You're looking at the first-team defensive unit, and they did a really nice job against Co in this one. More to come right here from Mike Davis, a second time with a tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Also some good stuff as well from the defensive backfield as you're going to check in with Josh Gaines right here, coming up with an interception as he kind of stymies the Co offense at that point. Co's offense, their first team offense, really, really good on the goal line session of this one with a pair of touchdown passes from this guy, Josh Breckers, to Dominic Lensing. He caught both of them. Culver Stockton had great moments, had some down moments, but they've got 2 weeks to clean it all up. Look forward to the start of college football in 2 weeks. Should be an awful lot of fun there as well. Well, we've got more to talk about. Let's talk a little high school, and we have a wonderful week 1 in the books. And you know what? We're asking for your help to help us take a look at some of the play of the week candidates. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this week, and we will give you some of the nominees. You can go to our Facebook page and cast a vote. They include the big fella from Paris, August Hayhurst, who had 12 tackles, 3 quarterback sacks, and a pick-6 interception in the Coyotes' win over Schuyler County. You see him right here. Also not pictured from the small school level, Van Far quarterback Lucas Robinson, who was 7 of 8 passing for 79 yards, touchdown. Also ran 6 times for 236 yards and 4 touchdowns as well. Tell you what, you had some good ones. Macon's touchdown maker, Austin, with a couple of touchdowns yesterday in the big win over Palmyra. Also not pictured here, Bowling Green's Adam Holt, who scored 4 rushing touchdowns against Louisiana. This guy pictured, Anthony Kopp from Brookfield, who had 4, count them 4 first-half touchdowns, 3 passing, 1 rushing, as you see right there. Anthony Kopp on the board leading Brookfield to the big blowout win over South Shelby. Also, a couple of Monroe City guys who merit your attention going forward. Logan Minter who is the big sophomore fullback we've been talking about a lot around here, had 148 yards and this touchdown rush in the win over Clark County. Tara Gardner, you know him, 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. So if you're a Monroe City fan, gave you 2 candidates to vote on as well. Also want to talk about the Hannibal Pirates from today, who did a really nice job. Shamar Griffith, who had obviously a huge day today with 2 touchdowns, 130 yards on the ground, including the game winner right here. Also, Jerry McBride, who had a pair of interceptions today, including a pick 6 to get it done. So all of those names are on our Facebook page. We just want to hear your justification. Again, we will announce the winner for you coming up on Thursday. And we've got a new power poll to talk about. Didn't change. Teams didn't play, not a whole lot of movement at the top, but we'll hit through it for you really quickly. Triopia moves in thanks to losses from Palmyra and South Shelby into our top 12. Again, Paris looked good. Bowling Green looked really good. They answered some questions in week 1. Harder challenges ahead. As we go to the second 4 in this one, Brown County moves up a little bit. Centralia moves up a little bit. Illini West moves up a little bit. All of that thanks to the Palmyra loss. And as I mentioned, the South Shelby loss as well. And our top 4 exactly the same as last week. The Power 4 right there as Hannibal and Macon, the only 2 teams that played. Obviously, Illinois and Iowa get back into the picture here, but we toyed a little bit with the quality of Hannibal's win today of moving them to number 1. We'll see how Central plays it out against a really good, really nasty, kind of a trap game against North Green to start things off. So we'll kind of have a better outlier view of how everything shakes down. But again, Hannibal and Macon, with a shutout of Palmyra this week, really kind of showed out and proved their place in the power poll. I guess no movement early means we did a pretty darn good job putting this thing together. And we'll have more overtime for you coming up after this.